Avoid these audio devices. In 2026, because this year the tech world is flooded with outdated chips, unsafe volume spikes, weak build quality, and devices pretending to be premium while quietly damaging your ears. I'm listing 8 devices from worst to best, so stick to the end to know which device deserves your money. 8. Apple AirPods Pro, 2nd Gen. Rapid battery decay and persistent ANC defects. Every time I test wireless earbuds, there's one pattern that jumps out at me. Premium price does not guarantee premium longevity, and nothing proves this more brutally than the AirPods Pro 2. I've owned multiple pairs, friends have owned them, viewers have complained about them, and the same issue repeats every year. These things simply do not survive long enough to justify what they cost. Apple loves to advertise up to 6 hours listening time and up to 30 hours with the case point. But let me tell you what actually happens after 12 to 18 months. The batteries collapse. You get a pair that lasts barely 40 minutes per bud. You charge them fully, walk out the door, and before you reach the bus stop, one earbud is already screaming that it's dying. This isn't accidental. These batteries are tiny, sealed, and non-replaceable. Apple knows chemistry. They know the charge cycles. They build a product where decay is guaranteed, and it gets worse when you factor in the ANC problem. Apple still hasn't solved the long-standing ANC degradation that started with the first generation. I've personally updated firmware only to hear a sudden loss of low-frequency blocking. The ANC becomes airy, weak, inconsistent. Some people hear static or hissing when switching modes. Others lose noise cancellation entirely in one ear. Apple never acknowledges it. They simply push another firmware update and hope people stop complaining. Comfort is another issue. AirPods Pro 2 still creates ear pressure headaches for thousands of people because of the aggressive ANC algorithm. Combine that with the clamping fit, and you have a device that literally causes physical fatigue during long sessions. Bluetooth performance isn't flawless either. Stutters in crowded environments, slight delays in games, and the occasional one bud cuts out bug are all common. And for what? For a product that dies long before its price feels justified. In 2026, I consider the AirPods Pro 2 one of the worst investments you can make in wireless audio, beautiful marketing, terrible lifespan. 7. Sony WH-CH720, unsafe volume spikes and build quality problems. Sony makes some of the best headphones on the planet, and some of the worst. The WH-CH720 sits firmly in the second category. I want you to picture this. You buy budget headphones, you put them on, you hit play, and suddenly the volume jumps to unsafe levels without warning. I have personally experienced this on the CH series models, and Sony forum threads are filled with the exact same complaint. These unpredictable volume spikes are dangerous, especially for teens and commuters who turn their music up to drown out noise. The CH720 also has terrible passive isolation. You hear everything around you, so naturally you raise the volume. But the more you raise it, the more distortion creeps in. At 70 to 80% volume, the bass starts shaking, the mids crumble, and the treble becomes so sharp it feels like needles hitting your ears. The build quality is embarrassingly fragile. The plastic headband is so thin that even mild pressure can cause snapping. I've seen reports of users breaking them while simply placing them inside a backpack. The ear cushions flatten fast, in some cases under 2 months, and once that happens, comfort disappears completely. Connectivity isn't much better. The WH-CH720 struggles in crowded areas, often dropping audio for a second or two when surrounded by other Bluetooth signals. Delay during calls or videos is noticeable too. Sony cut so many corners on this model that the only thing it really offers is the brand name stamped on the side. When people ask me whether they should buy these because they're cheap Sony headphones, I always tell them the same thing: cheap Sony is not real Sony. These headphones sound unsafe, break easily, and behave unpredictably. There are budget headphones that are bad, but the WH-CH720 is bad in a way that puts your ears and your money at risk. 6. JBL Tune 760NC, Live 6.7 ANC, harsh treble, poor durability, and battery failures. JBL is one of those brands that looks fantastic on the surface, but collapses the moment you stress test their mid-range models. The Tune 760NC and Live 6.7 ANC are two perfect examples. When I tested them, the first thing that hit me wasn't the bass, or the ANC, or the comfort, it was the treble. These headphones are so sharp that certain vocals and cymbals become physically painful at higher volumes. I've actually had to take them off during sibilant tracks because the S and T sounds turned into razor blades. JBL tunes everything with a V-shape: boosted bass, boosted treble, and buried mids. That tuning works for cheap speakers, but on headphones, it becomes torture. At higher volumes, distortion crashes in like a wave. Combine that with a naturally loud maximum SPL, and these become a long-term hearing risk. Durability is another disaster. Hinge cracks, collapsing headbands, snapping swivel joints. I've seen so many reports of these falling apart after 6 to 9 months. Some people say the ear cups loosen until the headphones shake on their head. Others complain that the cushions peel off within weeks. You're not buying a product that lasts. You're buying something that decays steadily like a disposable item. Battery life is also inconsistent. On paper, you get around 40 hours. In reality, people report sudden drops from 60% to 10%, or rapid drain when the headphones are turned. I've seen cases where the battery simply refuses to charge past 80% after a few months. JBL quietly updates batches, but the problem never stops completely. ANC, barely functional. It blocks low-frequency hums but fails against talking, traffic, or wind. And the transparency mode sounds robotic, like you're listening to the world through a broken walkie-talkie. I've tested $30 headphones that outperform these in comfort and consistency. The 760NC and 670NC succeed in one thing only: reminding buyers that mid-range JBL is a gamble, and most people lose. 5. Beats Studio Buds Plus, weak noise cancellation and connectivity vulnerabilities. Now let's talk about one of the most misleading products released in recent years, Beats Studio Buds Plus. They look premium. They look futuristic. They look like something Apple would have put real engineering behind. But once you actually use them, you realize the truth: they're style over substance. The biggest disappointment is the ANC. Beats advertised improved noise cancellation. Yet when I tested them side by side with even mid-range competitors, the Studio Buds Plus performed far worse. They barely reduce low-frequency rumble, struggle with voices, and let wind noise roar through. It feels like the ANC is pretending to be the ANC. Then there's the sound signature. Beats tried to be balanced, but what they've created is a hollow mid-range that eats vocals alive. Bass is present but sloppy. Treble is inconsistent. Albums that should sound energetic end up feeling flat and lifeless. Connectivity is another major issue. I've experienced dropouts when walking near busy intersections, inside malls, and on public transport. A shocking number of owners complain about earbuds disconnecting mid-call or audio cutting in one ear. Firmware updates help, but never fully cure the problem. Security concerns are growing too. Several independent Bluetooth audits listed the Beats Studio Buds Plus among devices vulnerable to certain exploit kits. When a pair of earbuds can potentially be hijacked, it's no longer just a sound problem, it's a privacy risk. Battery drain during standby is another nightmare. Leave them in your bag for a day, and they lose 20 to 30% charge without ever being opened. In 2026, these earbuds feel like a fashion accessory pretending to be audio gear. They look incredible. But if you care about ANC, sound precision, stability, or digital safety, the Studio Buds Plus fall apart quickly. 4. Anker Soundcore Space One. Strong ANC value but imperfect tuning. In 2026, I feel like Anker's entire Soundcore lineup has one mission: offer features that rival $300 headphones at a price most people can actually afford. The Space One is one of the best examples of that strategy. When I first tested them, the ANC genuinely shocked me. For a pair that usually sells under $100 on sale, the amount of low-frequency noise these can block is impressive. You can sit on a bus, walk through a mall, or study in a loud environment, and the ANC holds its ground far better than most budget headphones. But Space One is not perfect. The moment you start raising the volume, the bass becomes too swollen, too eager to dominate the mix. It bleeds into the mids and reduces vocal clarity. With EQ, you can fix this to an extent, but out of the box, the tuning is inconsistent. Some tracks sound great, others sound messy. Comfort is a mixed experience. The pads are soft, but the clamping force takes time to loosen. If you wear them for 3 hours straight, you may feel pressure hotspots on the crown of your head. Build quality is acceptable for the price, but you can feel the plastic flex if you twist the frame. I always tell people, treat them carefully because durability is tied closely to how gently you use them. Connectivity is solid. Multi-point works well on most devices, and Bluetooth stability is far better than older Soundcore models. Battery life is strong too, hitting around 40 hours with ANC on. The Space One is a great affordable option with real ANC power, but the tuning and build limitations keep it from reaching the top 3. Still, for the price, it punches far above expectations. 3. Audio-Technica ATH-M50XBT2. Studio-grade reliability with modern features. There are very few headphones I can recommend year after year without hesitation, and the Audio-Technica M50XBT2 is one of them. These aren't flashy, they don't fold like premium travel headphones, they don't try to impress you with gimmicks. What they offer is something simple but essential: consistent sound quality and professional reliability. When I listen on the BT2, I notice how clean the mids are compared to most consumer headphones in this price range. Vocals stand forward, drums hit tightly, and instruments sound natural without being artificially boosted. Bass is punchy but controlled. Treble is crisp without becoming harsh. They sound like headphones designed by engineers, not marketers. They also solve a problem many wireless devices ignore: stability. The BT2 barely suffers from Bluetooth dropouts. Multi-point is smooth. Latency is low enough for casual gaming. And because these are essentially a wireless upgrade of the original Studio Classic, they have something most headphones lack: replaceable parts. The pads, the cable, even the headband can be swapped with aftermarket pieces. These can last 5 years or longer if you take care of them. There's no ANC, and that's what keeps them from climbing higher on this list. But the passive isolation from the closed-back design is decent. You can comfortably use them indoors, at work, on trains, or during long editing sessions without fatigue. The M50XBT2 is the kind of headphone I rely on when everything else fails. No weird bass boosts, no cheap plastic hinges that snap in a month, no battery drain catastrophes. Just good, honest sound that never surprises you in a bad way. 2. Bose QuietComfort Ultra. Elite comfort and world-class noise cancellation. Every time I use the Bose QC Ultra, I remember why Bose still holds a throne in the ANC world. These are the headphones I reach for when I want peace, real, heavy, almost eerie silence. Among every device I tested for this list, Bose still delivers the smoothest, deepest, most stable noise cancellation. Plane engines fade, air conditioners disappear, traffic melts into a faint background hum. This is what the ANC is supposed to feel like. Comfort is where the QC Ultra becomes unbeatable. The moment you put them on, they disappear on your head. The pads are feather soft. The weight distribution is perfect. I've worn these for 6-hour editing sessions and forgotten they were there. If someone asked me to recommend one headphone for long workdays, this is the one I would choose immediately. Sound quality is better than previous Bose models. The bass is rich without being bloated. Mids are warm and pleasant, and treble is smooth. Bose has never tried to compete with audiophile brands, but for everyday listening, these are fantastic, fun, clean, and non-fatiguing. Battery life lands around 24 hours with ANC, which is acceptable, though not class-leading. Build quality is better than older generations, but still not as sturdy as Sony's premium models. The QC Ultra earns its place near the top because it delivers something no other headphone does: effortless comfort paired with world-class noise reduction. If ANC is your priority, this is the best you can buy. 1. Sony WH-1000XM5, the most complete headphones of 2026. There is a reason the XM5 has dominated top lists for years. It is the most complete package money can buy. Not the strongest ANC, Bose wins that. Not the most detailed sound, Audio-Technica wins that. But when you combine everything, ANC, tuning, features, connectivity, comfort, battery, nothing outperforms the XM5 as a whole. The sound signature is warm, rich, and balanced. Bass has depth without turning muddy. Vocals are clear. The treble is smooth and non-piercing. With EQ, you can customize the profile exactly the way you want. ANC is extremely strong, especially with low-frequency rumble. The XM5 handles city noise, office chatter, and engine sounds effortlessly. Sony's wind reduction algorithm also does better than most competitors. Multipoint is flawless. The Bluetooth connection is stable even in signal-heavy locations like train stations and malls. Battery life hits around 30 hours with ANC, and fast charging gives you 3 hours of playback from just a few minutes plugged in. Comfort is excellent thanks to the floating-style headband. The pads are soft and breathable, and the headphones feel lighter than they look. The XM5 isn't cheap, but it earns the #1 spot because it performs consistently across every category. This is the pair I trust for travel, editing, work, relaxation, and everyday listening. When people ask me which headphones they should buy in 2026, the XM5 remains my default answer. Subscribe, like, and comment why you like this video for a chance to win a new Apple MacBook.